what a productive game for us. You get in these games, and ultimately, here's what you would like to have happen. You get tested in this area or that area. You get a chance to see what some unknown commodities look like when they get out there. Some of them under the lights for the first time. You want to play a team that competes. You want to play someone that's good. Honestly, I don't like doing it if the team's not good, and they were good. They have a good team. I'm looking forward to following them this season and see how they finish. I'm really excited about that, actually, because I think they have a really good team. So I think it was really good for us, very valuable for us. It's going to be a really good film session for on Friday. We're off tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to some of the messages that we'll be able to send. We had some young guys that really went in there and performed, and that was really exciting to see them take that moment and grab the bull by the horns and go out there and perform well. So very, very successful exhibition game in that it provided us everything that we could have hoped for. There you go. Thank you.
Lamont, I know it's exhibition, you shouldn't judge too much, but Jamari, your starting point guard, it's only got a point, and he only played 14 minutes. Was that by design to just try to maybe get some other guys in there, or just maybe to kind of hold him back a little bit?
Well, some of it. I mean, we wanted to – you talk about again, I hate to compare these human beings to commodities, but you talk about completely unknown commodities, and then commodities that you feel as if you should or do know more about. And he's more of the latter than the former. And so the young guys, I did want to play some of the young guys and get them out there. And but there was also, he didn't play great. And there were a couple guys that didn't play great, and their minutes were probably affected a little bit. Not that they were going to play 30-some minutes. I just don't think these games are for that. But so he probably played a few less minutes than what he normally would have, just because he didn't play great. And honestly, that has less to do with whether you shoot the ball and it goes in. I'm an interesting coach that way because there's a lot of ways to bring benefit to your team. And I thought his energy was really good defensively early on in the game. I thought he had tremendous energy and set the tone for us defensively early. And then, as he didn't play great, I think it impacted the other side of the ball for him. And so we just kind of moved and got some of the other guys a little more experience. And then we actually, the lead got bigger with those guys out there too. So, at that point, as a coach, you're going to play the group that's playing better, honestly.
You went into halftime with a lead. They came out and had a 12-2 run, and you guys responded. I'm curious on what the message was in the huddle after that timeout, after going into the big league, and kind of what did you see from your team that in that comeback?
Yeah, I thought we were lethargic and generally careless in a lot of ways. I haven't watched it over yet, so I don't know this. But I feel as if during that stretch we were turning the ball over, right, against a team that isn't known for their full court pressure or anything like that. But we had some careless turnovers. Our shot selection wasn't great. I think some things had bled into that. That wasn't the first thing to go, but our shot selection wasn't great. So that made us really ineffective offensively, and at the same time they were doing some things, defensively we had some breakdowns too. So we just, in that timeout, we talked about energy. I subbed. I brought some new guys in that timeout, and our energy was better. I mean, point blank. I thought and as you come into the game, whether you're a starter or you're coming off the bench by nature, you have to be inserted in the game with energy. Otherwise, there's no use in subbing. And so I thought that group that we put in brought some real energy. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think everything else fell into place when we started playing with a lot of energy.
On the defensive side of the ball, you mentioned a few breakdowns, specifically in that first half. And when you guys go back and watch the tape, what's kind of your hypothesis on why some of those breakdowns occurred when they did?
Some of it was one-on-one. You know, they had a couple guys that put their head down. I think one time, I think it was Zero put his head down against Cam Scott and got all the way to the rim for a layup. He did the same thing and then made a spin move on Jacoby and got a layup. We fouled a three-point shooter. I think some of them were correctable things. And then a couple times they hit a shot here or there. I think that's kind of baked into the equation. Nobody ever pitched a shutout in this game in the modern era. So guys are going to make some shots here and there, but I think we really contributed to what they were doing with some of it was just one-on-one. I mean, some of it was just one-on-one, and you have to have enough pride that you're not going to let a guy get all the way to the basket and then at that point hope he's going to miss or think you're going to block the shot as he's 5 feet away from the basket. I think that's a losing betting game most times, but I think a lot of it was just not ready to defend guys, and maybe some of it was because they just thought they'd be able to do it easier because we were better physically. So it was a good lesson for some of those guys.
You guys shot 34 threes tonight. Does that go back to the shot selection you were talking about, where you want to see guys drive a little bit more, or is that about a target number you'd expect to see from this team going forward?
No target number. I mean, I like threes. I like the ones that go in more often, but I like threes, but I don't really have some sort of every couple possessions we have to get a three off, or, I think just the organic flow of the game and the way that they played, they were packing it in. They were really heavy from the weak side help. Actually some of our turnovers during that stretch were because we were trying to do too much when they had the floor condensed. And so when a team's doing that, you're going to get more threes, honestly. We went away from I didn't want to force post touches. I thought that was a big advantage for us, and we came out of the gates. A couple of our first baskets were set calls to go inside to those guys. I did not want to play the game and say, oh, let's see how many we can win by. Let's throw it to the post every single – I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play the game. And their defensive structure concept was to crowd the paint. So it was a little harder for us to do it off the dribble, and so that yielded more three-point opportunities for us.
Hi, Coach. You told us earlier this summer that anybody who's following SEC basketball will know the name Arden Conyers. What we saw tonight, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, I mean, he's offensively, he's ready. He is. He's got some work. I don't want everybody that would not be fair to him for me to say, hey, this is what every single day looks like for Arden Conyers. It's not. But I'm telling you, his offensive package is diverse. He's athletic. He's very versatile. He's ready offensively. I don't have any doubts about that. Part of the doubt at all is when the lights go on, what does that look like? He hadn't played in a real game right in front of a crowd, and he still hasn't to that end. But I'm certain that he's ready offensively. He just, he needs to continue to clean some things up defensively. But when I say that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that I see. His versatility. He can score around the basket. He can attack off the dribble. He can pass relatively well for a guy of his size. He can make open threes. There's not a lot that he can't do from an offensive standpoint.
Sticking with Arden and also talking about Cam, what was it like to see that type of production off the bench? And do you think they kind of fed off of one another and their ability to make 7 combined threes tonight?
Yeah, that's exciting for me to see those young guys go out there and do that, for both of those guys. You talk about a guy like Cam and all the hoopla that has been around him and a decommitment, and you're staying home and you have a ranking and all these things. To go out there and be comfortable as he was says a lot about who he is internally as a person and as a competitor. He's just he's a very confident guy, so that's not easy to do under those circumstances, to go out there and play. And just as difficult is to be in Arden's situation. And this is extremely encouraging and exciting for me, because you take a guy and that no one knew about probably, right, at this level. He redshirts, and then to see the growth that has happened over the last 365 days is really exciting to me. At the heart of it all for me, I'm a developer. It's what I enjoy the most in this whole, out of all these things, that in the NCAA tournament. But the thing I enjoy the most is helping guys develop, and then watching them enjoy the growth that they have made since when they go out on the floor. And so to see a young guy do that is really encouraging, that can still happen even in 2024, where that's going to be a rarity in most programs.
Certainly with the perspective that it's just one exhibition game, but you mentioned taking a couple of guys out of the lineup and inserting some guys and the energy picking up a little bit. Is that it seemed like a couple of the older guys came out, a couple of younger guys went in. Is that kind of a good coaching point or a good teaching moment for those guys?
I think so. You have to understand that also guys are in different roles and all the things that come with, being in this particular role. Maybe it's as a full-time starter now. Maybe it's as a guy that you think now has to average 10 points when you averaged 6 points before. Whatever those things are, there are so many things going on in these guys' heads, so many people saying certain things. So a lot of information for these guys to process, and honestly, guys respond to it differently. That's life. And I think a couple of our responses weren't the response that I would have anticipated today. Doesn't mean I'm mad at anybody, but we gave a couple other guys opportunities. And that's the beauty of having some depth. We did that last year. We had multiple times where we had a different leading scorer or a guy stepped up and made plays. And I'm hoping the early signs are that we may have some of that again this year, but I'm hoping that we're able to do some of that again. And you come in off the bench with guys like with Mo or whoever it is, maybe Mo turns into a starter, who knows. But to have guys that can come off the bench and hold the fort down and make some plays is a real luxury.
Lamont, with the front court, you guys were able to really get a lot of rebounds. It seemed like tonight, crashed the boards, had a lot of second chance opportunities. Just how important was that to see so far tonight?
Yeah, that was really important. That was the one challenge. There were two challenges that I made. One, I thought we passed with flying colors. The other one, I think we could have definitely done a better job of. One of them was individual defense, your one-on-one matchups, Guys throw screens and all these kinds of things. That's not a one-on-one scenario. But when you did go head-to-head, mano-a-mano, could we win some of those situations from a defensive standpoint? That was one of the challenges that we laid out. What was the other? What did you say again? Sorry.
With, getting the rebound.
Oh yeah, the other one was rebounding. I thought just with our length and our size, I think that should be a thing for us, honestly. And so I want us to have 3-4 guys attacking the offensive glass, and rebounding and creating opportunities. Some of your best shots come off of offensive rebounds, not only the ones that are right there at the rim, but the defense typically collapses and you get some wide open threes off of offensive rebounds. So that was a challenge, and I thought we did a really good job of making a consistent effort to go to the offensive glass.
You talked about it a bit, but as a whole, how would you evaluate the newcomers' performance tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to do that without really watching, newcomers in general, high school, young guys and old guys. I'm excited about our newcomers. I am. I think I'm really happy about the acquisitions that we made. I hate to use that word, but the additions we made to our roster. Really happy. I'm very hopeful that they will achieve at the level that I believe that they can achieve. I think they have a really high ceiling. All of our young guys and our new guys, some of the older new guys. Jordan Butler is going to be a good player for us. I think, he has so much skill, ability, and potential. He's learning. He didn't play a whole lot of minutes last year, and so he comes in almost like a freshman. So he's doing a lot of learning, but his ceiling is really high. I like all the new guys that we brought in. I'm really, really high on them, and I think they're great complementary pieces to, Nick Pringle's a new guy. It's hard for me to even think that he's been in this league for so long. We've been face to face with him. He's from South Carolina. It's hard for me to put him into the new guy situation, but he is. So I think overall, I thought they did a good job. Plenty of room for growth, but that's why they give you scrimmages and exhibition games.
Coach, this is I believe your second time being a head coach against your alma mater, and then this afternoon you received a jersey from them with your number from when you played.
Yeah.
How much of an honor was it to receive that
Yeah.
memorabilia from your school?
It was one, before it's an honor, don't let me forget to go into how much of an honor it was. It's a surprise that uniforms are so small. I was like, someone wears this. That was crazy. I certainly won't have that jersey on my body probably ever, but it was a tremendous gesture. I was really humbled by it. I meant what I said earlier. I'm really excited to watch these guys because I think they have the makings of a tremendous team. I know from a talent standpoint they certainly do, but it goes so much deeper than that in order to stand on a ladder and cut down nets, and I think they have the makings of that. So I'm really hopeful. But that was a real honor for them to do that, and a tremendous gesture, and I was really happy and proud. I'm proud of the school that I went to and the people that I interacted with there, and what I learned there, not only as a human, not only as a student, athlete, but then also as from a basketball standpoint, it was a great place to get your foundation built. Thank you. All right.